The whole Liam Kumar Day effect, not really happened.
Nigel couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I rang up Mendon all, he said he could make
Don't
it.
don't dig this hole. Phil, credit to the guy. He always manages to do well what he has to. He is a shocking personality. You guys got a trophy? No.
It was pre-bit.
No, my life from Rashad Mendon.
Right, you guys, I'm a tag jack! I'm a fucking tag!
The LOC Report is back after our brief 1-week hiatus. We needed a midweek week off, I think. Partly due to us being very busy.
Yeah.
And otherwise preoccupied. But hey, we're back. It's going to be a good episode. Week 9 of the LOC, and I'm joined by co-host Chris Leach. How's it going, Chris?
Back, man. Yeah, man, it's good. It's good. It's busy and tiring, but
Yeah, I'm very tired too.
it's the highlight of the week, so you know.
It is. We owe it to you to get one out. So we are broadcasting to you from the LOC HQ's IT department today.
That's it.
If you haven't seen my dad's room, it's pretty
Oh my word.
Decked out. futuristic.
This is something else. I can't even begin to tell you people. This is unreal.
Just imagine Star Trek. That's probably.
I mean, I can't even quite believe what I'm seeing here, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's.
You think with all this, he'd have more analytics into fantasy or something? But hey, there we are.
Yeah.
We'll get on with the episode though. Starting with the league news. Now, last week's episode was going to be named the Week of the Hamstring because half of the players in the NFL seem to have a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
I haven't done a proper injury list like I usually do, but I imagine there's quite a few injuries, so here we go. Marvin Jones, limited participant in practice. He's been dealing with a foot issue all season. He should be fine. Randall Cobb, he's had a hamstring, missed last week's game. But I'm hearing should return to the fray this weekend. Doug Martin, after suffering that setback to his hamstring, like I said, week of the hamstring, he is out this week. Might return next week. Obviously, he's on the short week this week. He's playing today. Depending when you're listening, that's Thursday, so he might be back next week. Spencer Ware, he got a concussion in last week's game. Unclear what his status will be for weekend. Concussions are always a tricky one. Terrell Pryor, he did not practice. I can only imagine that's his hamstring again. He's been dealing with that for a few weeks, so one to monitor. Ryan Matthews, not sure what his injury is, but he has a walking injury as we know. Also facing benching, I've been reading during the week, so regardless of his injury, you might not be playing him anyway. Travis Benjamin, he's been dealing with a knee injury, did not practice today, but I'm pretty sure he suited up last week, so he should be okay. Odell Beckham Jr., he's a limited participant. He obviously had that hip injury, but he played in the Twickenham game. But before his bye, so I have no doubt that he'll play this week. Moving on. Tyrell Williams, he did not practice. I believe he also has a knee injury. He played last week, so I'd anticipate him playing again. Little update on Dion Lewis here. Rare Dion Lewis mentioned from the LOC Report. He's obviously missed most of, all of the year so far due to the knee injury he suffered last season. And he could potentially return after the bye this week. So look out for week 10 as a return for Dion Lewis.
Yeah.
DeMarco Murray, limited participant. Was it a knee injury he had?
A toe injury.
Toe injury.
But he's okay now.
Yeah, he's limited this week. Might lose a few carries to Derrick Henry at most, but if he's going, he's going to be the main back there. T.Y. Hilton, he's also been dealing with a knee injury pretty much the whole season, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
No doubt. He'll suit up again. Jarrett McKinnon's injury is a hamstring as well?
Hamstring. It was kind of a hamstring, kind of an ankle injury.
Both?
Yeah, he's walking around in a boot last week, wasn't so clever. Still walking around in a boot this week,
Okay.
still not so clever.
If he did not practice after missing a game, it's looking iffy for his Sunday.
Very much so.
Amari Cooper, he's a limited participant. Not sure what that is, but I have no doubt he'll suit up. Same with Devontae Booker. I think he left briefly in the game last week with a shoulder injury, I think. But he came back, so he should be good to go. Theo Riddick, he's been a bit banged up all season, but he'll be fine. Corey Coleman, though, hand. He obviously suffered that fractured, broken hand, whatever it was, a few weeks ago. I imagine he'll probably be good to good to go certainly next week, and he might even return this week.
Well,
so
one
one
to
to keep an eye on.
with prior outs.
Yeah, absolutely. The Dream Team, Des Bryant, limited participant with his knee. Obviously returned for the first time in a long time last week, so he should be good to go as well. Carlos Hyde, he's still suffering with that arm, and I saw a report from the Niners today that they have no idea what Carlos Hyde's status is.
Oh.
Kind of okay when it's me talking about it, not so much when it's your player on your team
So you think
that
you'd
you
know.
run.
No.
So
You would think you'd know, wouldn't you?
yeah,
You really
so,
would.
but I would take that as he probably less likely to play than likely to play.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown, he's a full participant. No idea what that is, but he will play. Matt Forte, limited participant. He's obviously been a bit banged up ever since week 2-3, but he should be good to go. D'Angelo Williams, he's a limited participant. He's also had that knee problem. Regardless if he plays or not, who cares? He's a backup, but I imagine he'll probably return.
Yeah.
Jonathan Stewart did not practice. Probably just a rest day. He's a veteran, an injury-prone veteran at that.
That's it.
So he should be good. Ty Montgomery, I think he may have a hamstring injury as well. Limited participant. I'd expect him to come back as well, probably. Tevin Coleman, he is already been ruled out for Thursday night's game.
Ooh.
He's been dealing with his, I believe, hamstring injury. I wasn't lying, folks.
Serious.
For a few weeks now, he will not play tonight, but has the long week to rest up, so he might return. Wow, we're nearly there. Jaquiz Rogers has been ruled out. You know what? I'm pretty sure he has a hamstring injury.
Wow.
I don't know what he's got, but he's not playing tonight.
No.
Brandon Marshall, he's the healthiest he's been in a while, full participant. He should be good to go.
From a hamstring injury, believe it or not.
Probably, yeah. Ben Roethlisberger, who doesn't have a hamstring injury, he probably wishes he did though, as he tore his meniscus. Limited participant. I don't think he's going to return this week, but there's a chance he could come back next week. Devontae Parker, full participant, he should be good to go. Frank Gore did not practice, rest day for a veteran. LaShawn McCoy, you know what I'm going to say, hamstring. He's progressing. No idea what his status is for Sunday. He had a setback a couple of weeks ago and missed last week's game, so I don't know. And Steve Smith, still suffering from that ankle injury he suffered a while ago. At the time, it was really a pain tolerance thing, so he's missed a lot of time, but he is 37, let's not forget, so let's give him a benefit of the doubt.
He's not got senior on the end of his name for no reason.
No. I would expect him to probably miss Sunday's game.
Yeah.
So that is all of the injured players in the league. Probably would have been easier just to read a list of the healthy players. But there we are.
Very much so.
Right, so we'll get on to the transactions then. Before we get to the main meat and bones of the podcast, so we can get through this relatively boring stuff. ADLZ added Lance Kendricks and CJ Fedora. It's now for the sheer hilarity. I want you to tell me about this one.
Wow, that's it. That's it. Well, not really doing a great deal. Either way, Lance Kendricks, we saw him at Twickenham. Yeah, big bruiser.
I can give you my Madden scouting report on him.
Can you? Go on then.
If he catches the ball, he's good. However, if he catches the ball, it's largely the problem.
Yeah.
That's my report.
Okay, well there you go. Say no more. So.
And that's in a Patriots offense where I throw to the tight end a lot. Not a Rams offense with Case Keenum.
No.
Fun fact: we saw Case Keenum's wife, Kimberly Keenum. Shout out to Kimberly Keenum.
Yeah, that's it. And she was looking pretty distraught when he threw a few picks and got sacked. As you would do, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean,
most of the LA Rams fans in the world were looking the same thing.
Yeah, except they were wishing that he was knocked out.
Yeah.
So Goff could come in as a post.
He's not a first round pick for no reason.
He's not. Cash for gold added Derrick Henry and dropped Zach Zenner. Obviously, just a reverse, really, of the drop of him.
That's really annoying because I wanted him.
Locking up every backfield.
Yep, that's it. That's it. I'll get the handcuff for everybody. Handcuff for handcuff. I need to.
The Dream Team added Charkandrick West and dropped Cameron Arthur's Payne in the wake of Spencer Ware's injury.
Can I just say, Cameron Arthur's Payne's been picked up and dropped more times this year than I can.
Than Britney Spears.
Yeah. That's it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Ben Necessities added Eli Manning and dropped Jeremy Curley. We have a dog. The Talk Files added Tim Hightower and dropped Devontae Parker.
Quality.
Ingram got benched last weekend, so I imagine it's still going to be a committee, but hey.
He'll stop fumbling.
Yeah. Tom's Torrance added Peyton Barber and dropped Niall Davis.
Wow.
Niall Davis had a rough week. Not only was he signed to the he was on the Packers roster, dropped, signed to the Jets, dropped within hours for CJ Spiller,
Good.
and now he's been dropped into Tugfards.
That's poor. That's poor. And replaced by Peyton Barber, who absolutely no one knows about, apart from he's the third back in Tampa.
Who's just been signed.
Yeah.
Well.
Great.
Bedatnes added TJ Yeldon and dropped Tavon Austin. Patterson added Eric Ebron and dropped Antonio Gates. Cash for Gold added Quincy Nunwa and dropped Terrence Williams.
Good Quincy.
Yeah, old Quincy.
Yeah.
Dennis Estes added Green Bay Packers D and dropped Tennessee Titans. The Talkfarts added Colin Kaepernick and dropped Tyra Taylor.
Does this mean that I can pick the Titans D up now?
I think my dad's still starting them.
That's a shame. That's a shame, because I can have everybody then. I can have them all.
Yeah. Cash for God added Marquise Lee and dropped Cameron Meredith even. The Talkfarts added Dan Bailey and dropped Nick Novak. Cash for Gold added Robbie Gould and dropped Dan Carpenter.
Course he did. Yes.
I believe he had him before the bye, to be fair. He was just on a bye week last week.
Why would he not?
Yeah. Tom Starrance added Will Lutz and dropped Sebastian Danikowski.
Wow.
Love it. They also added Cameron Brait and dropped Chris Ivory. Cash for Gold added Pittsburgh Steelers D and dropped Jacksonville. Busy week on the way for them. Good Gang added Antone Smith and dropped Jack Doyle. The Dream Team added Los Angeles Rams D and dropped Carson Wentz. And the Dream Team added James Starks and dropped New England Patriots D. That is your injury updates.
Lots of D's and kickers there, folks. That's what you want.
Just what we love.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? So we will now swiftly get to last week's games. So we had another good slate of games last week, and I think it's fair to say that the marquee matchup was probably this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was an interesting one, because entering this game, two early season juggernauts, it's fair to say. They both lost 2 on the trot though, so one of these teams was facing 4 and 4 in the face. Gridiron Gang against Bedetonators. This is a long rivaled history as well. These two have been playing obviously since 2009 together.
Yeah.
And it was a real close one. It took a Monday night comeback. Bedetonators won it 104 to 102. Tell me about
What a
this
game. What a game. And you thought that Derek Carr won this for Gridiron Gang, man. Because, let's be quite honest with you, there was nothing else to really shout about.
No, there was not.
That's it. Big D comes out, 4 passing touchdowns, that's huge. 43 points, stick it up your barrel. That's it. Have a bit of that. And yet, it wasn't quite enough. And we say it every week, if one of your players scores 40 points, you should win.
You should.
But this time it wasn't to be. And even I think this is probably the first time that maybe somebody has scored 40 points on the opposition side, and the team that's won has a player in minus points, and yet still won. And this is the thing. But can I just say, Bedetonators, special teams have bailed you out here.
Yeah, I was a bit annoyed at the Broncos 23 points.
That's it. I mean, everyone knows San Diego. That's difficult. That is a difficult. When they're playing, it's 2 pretty dire offenses. Let's be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
But 23 points, that's difficult on a special teams. Even the kicker, 13 points. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on now. Can we not have that? I mean, yeah, Matt Ryan come out again, some decent performance.
And apart from the Broncos, he bailed out. But it's as much Derek Carr bailed me out. I think it's fair to say.
I think that's fair. With 2 points in it, it's very, very difficult to say. But isn't it going to happen every week?
No.
104 points ain't going to happen. The Broncos D's going to get found out. Caleb Sturgis ain't going to score 13 points. So before we get too up in the air about Bedetonators' win here, I've got a massive feeling that this is a good win, one-off, big performance. But it's the same on both sides. So Derek Carr ain't going to score 4 touchdowns. He passes 513 yards every week, is he? So, a marquee matchup. Let's be quite honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, say in more ways, this is a freak result.
Yeah. Though saying that, I mean, my team still hasn't dropped below 90 points on this season.
Oh, behave! If it wasn't for Big D this week, he would have done so.
Well,
if it wasn't, that's it. That's more by luck than judgment.
So yeah, Bernat's moved to 5-3. Gridiron Gang dropped to 4-4, and Bernat actually have a pretty good record against me all time, 7-3 now. So yeah, Tom's Tyrants took on Forge Flyers as well last week.
Yeah.
We'll get to this one. So entering this one, you were 3-4, Chris, lost 2 on the trot, while Tom has had a bit of a rebound. He was up to 3-4 after a really slow start. He ended up winning at 98-84, moves to 7-2 all time against
Talk
you.
about special teams bailing teams out here again. I mean, you know, fair enough, but the Chargers D, like, it's less about what the Chargers D did and more about the Jets D didn't on my side. Like, come on, they're playing Cleveland in Cleveland, and it's like they score 5 points to get battered on the run.
I went for the Cleveland play last week. I'm doing it again this week. It didn't work for me the week before.
They get wrecked. I mean, you know, you got come on. If you're the Jets, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a few disappointing performances across the board in Forge Flyers. You know, we've got Cam Newton here. You know, he is Mr. MVP number one.
Didn't get a touchdown.
What's that all about? I mean, I got Marcus Mariota at the bench. I rate Mariota. He's a great player. But even with him in the team, we still couldn't have won. So that makes it better. But you know, even so, you know, it's a bit more hard. It's less difficult to fathom. But you know, let's say it's a good solid week from Tom's Tyrants. You expect no less. Crowell's getting some, you know, getting some luck across the goal, and that's good. Eifert coming back again. Really good for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Andrew Luck had a real dire game until the fourth quarter, by the way. It makes it look great. Makes it look great here. But
Garbage time.
Yeah, that's it. And here he's had a decent day in the end, fantasy wise. Anyway, I'm not so sure that the Colts did overall. But say, you know, 98 points is good for Tom Starks. That's what you want to be aiming for. Forge Flyers on the hand. Work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Next game here, Cash for Gold take on ADLZ. After leading the division at one point, Cash for Gold really have hit a bit of a cold snap. They've lost 3 on the trot entering this one. Meanwhile, ADLZ, you know, they started slow, had a really good couple of weeks, and they had that bad week. Thought they were going to take a step back, but they just kept on trucking. They were entering this game at 4-3. This is obviously a brand new matchup. These two have never played before, and ADLZ take the first one, 120-99.
Cash for Gold have been spared. Cash for Gold have been spared blushes all around. Aaron Rodgers ain't gonna score 40 points every week.
I think it's 2 players that really, well, 3 really.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with Amari Cooper ain't gonna play against the Tampa Bay secondary every week, right? And their shit. We're also talking about Aaron Rodgers that every time they play the Falcons as a shootout, and every time it seems to be that way. It's a good matchup. That ain't happening every week either. Ezekiel Elliott is happening every week though, and that's the key thing.
Yeah.
And he's not scoring touchdowns in this either. So let's be quite frank. And he carried a D as well, scoring no points. The Jags were awful against the Titans. They were. That's it. Well. They were.
I'm not disagreeing. I completely agree.
They were terrible.
I watched the game. It was terrible.
That's it. It was. It was terrible. But at the same time, Cash for Gold, they put up good figures, but that ain't every week. And the rest of the team there's nothing to write home about. So, ride Rodgers, ride Elliott. Probably won't be riding Cooper because they ain't playing the Tampa. As we said before, that's by and by.
I mean, it kind of sums it up where. In waivers we have just seen them drop one of their starting wide receivers.
They've gone huge, right, and that's fine. They've gone massive in the waivers, and they've got to do it because they've got to change some stuff up because I think they're pretty quite aware that it's downward. On the other side of the board, well, Andy Dalton Reds. I mean, stone me, people, stone me. This team were absolutely out of it. I mean, let's be quite honest. We said that this was a boom and bust team. They've had 2 booms. They're on for a bust, but hey, even when the Jags was absolutely shocking, Bortles still goes and scores 35 points.
Garbage time.
Yeah, man, that's it. 35 points from Bortles going large.
Garbage time king.
I said that happen every week. We've actually seen that happen every week. That's it. He's getting picked 3 times a week previous to that, so
Yeah.
Devonta, that's it. That's a shootout. That's a good matchup. Booker, like that.
Yeah, he's starting running back and never know with Anderson out.
Stashed him. It's good. And when you're seeing it here, you're seeing guys scoring double figures of what you want to see. Theo Riddick come back into the team. Playing in Houston. That's a difficult matchup.
Yeah.
And he's scoring 19 points. Good yardage. 1 touchdown. Yeah, he's a receiver, isn't he? He's a out the back.
Oh yeah, he's
Out
definitely
the
more of a
backfield running
scout
back.
back.
Yeah, 100%. So I like actually the mix right now. And if it's not Bortles scoring 35 points, there's AJ Green, and if it's not Freeman scoring 35 points, it's
Someone else. Yeah, it's a good balance. They've recovered well.
They've actually found some balance which they didn't have early part of the season.
Absolutely.
So fair play to them.
Yeah,
Fair play
absolutely.
to them.
Next game here, the Brady Bunch take on the Dream Team. Now, the Brady Bunch, after really having a few bad weeks, they had a nice one last week. Obviously, Brady's the anchor of that team. Well, the Dream Team, they also got one back, I think, or maybe even 2 back entering last week after. They've really been unfortunate this season, it's fair to say. But the Brady Bunch, trending their Brady or bust strategy, they Brady'd this week. All right, they won 125 to 80. 123, to 85, and the record all time now is 1-1 between these teams. Tell me about the game.
The New England Patriots offense, it's white hot. It's white hot, and that's the thing. When I
read a report they're holding back.
Dude, seriously? Well, if they're holding back, then stone me, people. Watch out!
You're
Watch
fired
out!
Up today, aren't you, Chris?
Watch out! Hey, I've been talking all day. I'm gonna carry on talking now. This is good. I've had this in my head. I've prepared today. So I'm also an Indian tonight, and I feel great. So, regardless of my Indian, regardless of my say, the New England Patriots offense white hot on my days. It's 38 points for Brady. It's 4 touchdowns. Not as good as Derek Carr. Can we say that Derek Carr's better than Brady this week?
Brady's amazing. Fantasy points, yeah.
So he had better. Not just to wind you up, but he did. But at least he was playing for your team. So anyway, that's it. When you've got a player like that who's in absolute form, he's in a passing team.
AFC Player of the Month. There's a fact.
Well, there you go. That's it. And quite rightly, it's his offense. He knows what he's doing. It's Tom Brady. He's the legend that be. If you've got that in your team every week, you are difficult to beat, and that is the thing here. Yeah. Brady Bunch. We said they're boom or bust, and but they're going to score 30 points every week.
Yeah, Brady's really anchored them.
They're going to get that guarantee. Yeah, Jeremy Hill, he occasionally has a few duff games and he turns up every now and again. That's what we see in there. The Cleveland offense playing the Jets. I mean, come on now, that ain't happening every week. But still, take it while you can.
Two receiving touchdowns for Andrew Hawkins.
Are you serious?
Who knew Andrew Hawkins would become a viable star for the Brady?
Are you serious? That's not. They got the Seahawks D as well, and you ain't gonna play New Orleans every weekend, but they're playing in New Orleans. I get why that's. That's a bit of a poison challenge, but still, they've got the elements of a good team. And Bilal Powell, can I just say, I saw his touchdown. There was only one run on the touchdown.
39-yard, 35-yard touchdown,
Rest of that, they say he does that. 13. Well, he's scored 13 points in the day, but 2/3 of that scored in one run. So anyhow, 123 points isn't where they want to be every week. It's you want to get 80 to 100, and they're going to do that. Through 3 players and the rest of the supporting cast. So that's great. Dream Team, on the other hand, I feel your pain, man. It's the same as me. This is like, honestly, this is like Forged Flyers. This is like it's my brother.
Brother from another division.
Yeah, exactly like that. I feel your pain, Viv, and this is why you say he's got decent quarterback. That's it. But then average David Breeze. I think he's had better days, but playing the Seahawks, you'd want to take 22 points. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's just the rest of the team. Darren Sproles and Latavius Murray at running back.
I think the biggest thing here is Julio, I think, and Greg Olsen.
Yeah,
Patsy also didn't do any favors.
Well, no, they didn't. But you're right. I was about to come on to that. You're quite right. The receiving core here decimated this week. Decimated. Yeah. Well, actually, Matt Ryan actually had a good week. Fantasy wise, but didn't really pass to Julio. Let's be quite honest. And Greg,
odd that one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it is. It's like last week not last week, the week before that, when Jordy Nelson had a terrible game.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers had a great day, and yet he was just a forgotten man. Now, 29 yards from Julio, man. That isn't right. Is he ill? And Greg Olsen. Well, Greg Olsen. I think even though he's at tight end, I think he's up there in receiving yards. I think he's in the top 5. Or it was previous to last week.
Yeah, he's been tearing up a bit.
But Cam can't find him at the moment, and if he does find him, Greg Olsen's dropping it. So, I feel your pain, basically.
Yeah. Did someone give you some happy pills today? LOC slipped some happy pills in your currency.
Feeling good.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. I think the listeners are going to like this episode.
Better right.
Next one is Benesistes against Pakistan. Entering this one, Benesistes obviously had a really bad few weeks after a great start of the season.
Yeah.
But they picked it up late. Meanwhile, Pakistan won 5 in a row entering this game. Absolutely mental.
Huge.
The history of this game is they've only played once. Benesistes took that one. However, it has been leveled up. Pakistan wins a 6th straight game, 99-86.
That's early season favourites. If I'm happy because I'm not at work. That's it. Now it's it. We tipped earlier on the season, and for you long-term listeners, you would hear this. We tipped Pakistan for greatness this year already.
We did.
That's it. Now we were surprised early part of the season why they were just that little bit, little bit down. But it's come out of nowhere, and say they've the elements of the team that we saw at the beginning of the season have really come good, and I like it because that's it. Pat supports some of these guys. He's got James Winston starting him.
Yep.
It's a reason to support the Bucks. Why not?
Mike Evans.
That's it. Mike Evans again. Yes, I'd say it's a nice stack. It's a nice stack, especially when they've got good weeks. So that helps. Jonathan Stewart, him coming back has really revitalised this running back pairing, which I think now is turning into one of the better ones in the LOC. We're seeing Stewart and Gordon. They're going to get a lot of work every week. Stewart, especially at the moment, is spearheading that Carolina offense. So they're right down there. What is it? They're 2-5 now. But they
something bad.
Yeah, they're terrible. They had to try something, and what they've done is they've gone to the running game. And so,
you want a stat? I think when Carolina run Jonathan Stewart 20 times plus, they are something ridiculous like 20-1.
That's crazy.
25.
That's crazy. See, that's it. You just don't get that from other undynamic running backs. They've got Ice Payne's been dropped more times than you can count, and Mike Talbot, who's.
Hey, don't forget about Fozzie Whittaker.
Oh, I forgot about that guy. But
he sounds like a Furby.
Yes, he catches stuff. I don't know. That's what he does. He just catches stuff. So anyway, they've come good at last, and they are contenders now. You've got to say now at this point, Pakistan are contenders. You don't win 6 in a row and not put yourself in the soapbox. On the side, Benesistes, they've come back. They've had better weeks, but they'll have better weeks again. It's just a shame Alfred Morris did nothing, but probably
not
won't.
Surprising.
Probably won't. Yes, so it's a bit of a. I presume everyone was on a bye or injured.
Yeah, they didn't have Bell. So.
There you go. So bit of a desperation play there. But so they'll have better weeks, and they've got good players in that team. DeAndre Hopkins has been a constant disappointment all year, though.
Yeah, as has the entire Houston Texans team.
Yeah,
I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, Brock Osweiler, mate.
Owner came out and said he's still basically a rookie, which is what you want from a $72 million quarterback in his 5th year now.
It's money well spent.
Yeah.
That's it. He can come off the field every time. Catch the fucking ball, man. But you got to throw it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Pakistan moves to 6-2, leading the league. While Benesistes is 4-4 now.
Say no more. I tell you what, that is if Pakistan wins the league this year, that is Leicester City of wins here.
It is. Our last game last week, Turkvards take on Iknan. History of this one, I'm sure, is a good one. Turkvards is 8-3, against Iknan at all times.
Oh dear.
8-3. So not a good one for Ben in the history books. Entering this one, obviously, Phil had that apocalyptic start to the season. I think it's fair to say, but really turned it around. Meanwhile, Ben, he's looked like a good team, but the wins just haven't been there, and that was the case again. Turkvards win this one, 106-94.
Special teams again have spared Ben's blushes here.
Yeah,
I'm afraid so. 33
points from your kicker and D.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. It glossed
third of your team's points.
It glossed over the fact that Stafford's had a terrible game. It's glossed over the fact that Jamal Charles got no points. The tight end's still not scoring, despite the fact he's in a high-powered offense. Larry stopped scoring touchdowns. Yeah, okay. Panthers had a good day, but that happened every week. So sorry, Ben.
Definitely hasn't.
It's made you look good. On the other side, I mean, we've said that Phil's starting some interesting players.
Yeah, I mean, just reading that: Tyra Taylor, Jaquiz Rogers, Rob Kelly.
Wow.
And Alan Hines, I guess, kind of fits into that now.
Yeah, that's it. But
and they all got points.
It's working. Phil's the ultimate fantasy hawk, and every week he starts winning, and every week you like fair play to the guy. You know, he's come out from absolutely nowhere with a team that was drafted terribly, and he's turned out to actually not have a bad team.
Yeah, and he's not even at full strength because he doesn't even have Terrence West or Ben Roethlisberger.
No, that's it, which is even more frightening. So you know what? I think at this stage Phil could win it. Just put it out there.
But he's never won it.
Yeah, I know. This is the year where he doesn't have any players. He's just going to win it.
Yeah, his team's worst. That's when he wins it.
That would be terrible. That would be terrifically Phil.
Yeah, it would be. Standings then, we'll get a quick look at the standings. So in the Southampton division, ADRZ has now taken the lead of that division at 5-3, with Gridiron Gang in second place, as well as Brady Bunch both at 4-4, and Forge Flyers bringing up the rear at 3-5. In the Portsmouth division, league leaders Pakistan at 6-2, the only team at 6-2. Benedict is now at 5-3, climbing, and Tom Sarrance at 4-4. Then Iknan at the bottom of that, 3-5. Winchester division, Tuckfars 4-4, currently winning that. Bare Necessities also on 4-4 though. Dream Team and Cash for Gold both 3-5.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's just standing. So
I tell you what, it feels good this year, folks, to have more people on the same thing as me. You know, so if you've got the same win-loss ratio as me, then you are looking good.
Yeah, 4 teams on 3 and 5. It's tight, isn't it?
I'm looking at you, Ignan. I'm looking at you, Dreams. I'm looking at you, Cash for Gold. Yeah, you can be with me this year. I'm gonna drag you down.
And you know, it's kind of this episode is called if you've seen LOC coaches have 9 lives. Yeah. Much like cats, they keep getting chances. Well, you know, it's still wide open.
Oh.
Completely wide open, even more competitive than last year.
For sure. This could be the tightest year. Everyone could be on the same at the end of the year. It could come down.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine the scenario if it comes down to win points for and against.
I mean, I'd be okay with that at this point.
Well, yeah.
One of a few teams to be.
That's true. So would ADRZ at this point, by the looks of just by doing some mental maths in my head here. So, in fact, the team that really would be. I mean, every year you see it. You know, teams not getting scored against. Pakistan's not won 6 in a row. For no reason. Pretty
oh wow, yeah.
Pretty
meager. I didn't even notice that.
Pretty meager points for, but points again. 698 points. The only team to have had 700 points or less scored against them.
Yeah.
Well, that's why. So it's more by luck than judgment in this game, folks.
Sure thing. And with that, we get to the power rankings.
Yes, we do.
So they have shifted a little. Pakistan moves to the top. Now they've jumped up from 3 to number 1. Gridiron Gang drops a spot from 1 to 2. Ignan drops down 2 to 3. Detonator is holding at 4 as a Brady Bunch at 5. ADRZ jumps up from 10th to 6th. Tom Sarrance hold at 7. Dream Team, they drop 2. They're down from 6 to 8. Tuckfods holding at 9. Forge Flies unfortunately dropped 2.
Yes.
From 8 to 10. However, I do say in there it's more about the ascendancy of other teams.
Don't worry, I'm feeling at home.
Yeah. Bare Necessities 11th, holding there, as well as Cash for Gold at the bottom. What do you make of the power ranking?
It's fair. It's fair. It's a fair representation of where everyone's at, and the fact is that we're seeing the team, quite right, the teams at the bottom, being those teams that are matching with the standings on top. You know, you're seeing the same kind of names there. Pakistan, obviously number 1, won 6 in a row. If you're not at the top of the power rankings and you won 6 in a row, someone's on drugs writing them.
It's good to hear, listeners, that I am not on drugs.
You're not on drugs. That's it. Don't do them. That's it. Whilst Gridiron Gang, that's it. I think Gridiron Gang, Ignan. I think, to be fair, I think ADRZ deserve a little bit higher because they have had 2 good weeks, and I think as we see the season go on, if they start still scoring 120 points and bang people out the park,
and I did write in there that I made a bit of an error, moving them down after that one bad week. Yeah. It did look really bad. It was about 60 points, so I think it was just by the time.
It was terrible.
And you know, I'll wait a game to move them probably back up again. But you're quite right. They could certainly be high.
100%.
With that, anyway, we'll take a quick look at our accolades from that happened last week. Coach Pedette got his 60th all-time win.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
He's moved into the top. He moved into a select club of the 60 club. I would say.
The 60 club, indeed. What else happened around the league? Pat pulled it back to 11-11 all time.
Did
He's
he?
now at 500. for the first time since.
Wow, there you go.
I
That's
think,
it.
yeah.
You're not actually the only team to do that because Viv is on 41-41, which is also quite amazing.
But he's dropped that. He was above 500.
It's a shame.
Yeah. Other accolades that I can spot here and more nice round numbers. Nige actually got his 40th regular season win of all time. So congratulations, Nige. And you have just notched your 60th regular season loss.
61st.
That was your all-time loss.
Was it?
Yeah. Because you had a playoff loss. So.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah, 60th.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a select club of one, so I'm quite proud of that.
I'm not far behind though. I had a rough couple of years that put me right there with you.
4 to go. That's it. Don't worry.
6. Oh, 4 all time. Sorry. Yes.
4 time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Yeah. Anyway, next week's games, we'll give you a quick preview of the games for next week. Looking at the games here, I'm probably gonna say this one is the marquee matchup because it is the Stubbs Bowl. I need to find out what number so we can call it Stubbs Bowl 9 or whatever.
It's quite a high one.
I can actually probably tell you from this. It is Stubbs Bowl
13. 13.
And that's not including 2009, so it might even
could be 15.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it would be 15. So.
Stubbs Bowl 15.
Stubbs Bowl 15.
Wow.
Yeah, and in Stubbs Bowl 15, both these teams are at a crossroads. Both are 4-4.
Yep.
Both have had periods of greatness this season.
Yep.
And to be fair, my team still hasn't dropped below 9 points. I grew out last week. Derek did that. But so what you will, my team has been a model of consistency with points coming from different places. Meanwhile, Bare Necessities, they obviously had that great start. They have dropped off a cliff for a few weeks, but they are getting it back. They're getting a bit healthier.
Yep.
But both set up 4-4. Be that as it may, the history of this matchup. Gridiron Gang is 5-7 all times against Bare Necessities, so fairly close. Projections currently have this one as a pretty low scoring. It's only 954. However, there are a few empty spots on the roster on both sides. Tell me about this game.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And you say you talked to me about Big D, and Big D is playing the Big D in the Big D. That's it. Well, he's not. He's playing the Big D on the baseball field, but it's yeah. Derek Carr's playing Denver this week, so he ain't scoring 40 points. And if he does, I'll eat my hat on this next week's show.
Make sure you bring a hat.
I'll bring my hat. Yeah, that's it. No, I think that I think this is probably about right for each team to play each other.
Yeah, both teams are on bye week. Hell.
Yeah.
Fellas.
That's it. We've got Benedict doesn't yet have a QB, and I'm looking on the bench.
They picked up Eli Manning.
That's it.
Come back to
Eli is the Philadelphia Eagle. My word. Okay, that's it. Okay, yeah. Eli versus Philly. That should be interesting. As Alfred Morris is continuing to play, but I doubt it because Le'Veon will come back in, so that's fine.
A few lineup changes to make.
Yeah, a few lineup changes to make, but. Regardless of the lineup changes that we see here, because I doubt these are the overall teams right now. Yeah, this is the right time for these teams to play each other. Yes, Gridiron Gang seems to be on the up, Ben Necessities seems to be on the way down, but they seem to be meeting in the middle right now.
Yeah.
And say, barring some decent individual performances, I think both these teams are quite similar in terms of their makeup. I think that they've both got some decent matchups this week. Although, albeit Ben Necessities, almost all their star players are playing away. Which is interesting. Apart from Eli's playing at home, but against Philly, which should be, yeah. But matchup wise, we're seeing some interesting ones here. I felt like Brandon Cooks at San Francisco.
Yeah, it's a pretty juicy one.
I like Moncrief against Green Bay. I like Stephon Diggs versus the Detroit Lions secondary because they're terrible.
Yeah, they are terrible.
They are terrible. They are. But on the other side, you've got well, Derek Carr did Denver. That's tough. But Randall Cobb's on the side, and that's the other thing. Well, it's Moncrief against Cobb. Sunday 9:25. Okay, you watch. It's it. Big battle royale, folks. So yeah, I have to admit, it's a difficult one to call this.
It is. I agree. It's a bad week for both teams.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I think just the way it is right now, I think Gridiron Gang are probably the team to go for, but I wouldn't bet my life on it.
No, I completely agree. I've been feeling for a few weeks the pressure to get to that 90 plus points each week, more and more as each week goes by. this week, more than most, I have got 5 players on a bye. Yeah, is that right? Yeah, 5 players on a bye, as well as Doug Martins, who's injured.
Yeah.
So, I'm. It's fair to say I'm struggling.
That's tough.
But on the other side of the ball, as we said, Ben says they've been struggling a bit. I completely agree. They've got some good matchups, which is what's been holding them up. And Le'Veon Bell definitely could make the difference. But like I said, nearly every week you go with form. I think form most of the time is correct, and I will go with my team as well. Next game then, Bedadnaders take on Forge Flyers. 2 opposite storylines for these teams, really. Bedadnaders, obviously, they've been a model of consistency all season. One of the few teams, I don't think they've dropped below 88 points all season long, so pretty much right with Gridiron Gang. However, they have like the upside.
Yep.
Their highest scoring total, I believe, was perhaps even last week, 104 points.
Yep.
Or around that region. So you know what you're going to get from them. And to be fair, much of the same as Forge Flyers. I believe I said in the power rankings either last week or the week before that your team is very much in the mould of Bedadnaders, albeit a slightly tick below.
100%, yes. I think it was just simply because of the lack of RB2.
Yeah, and that's due to the injuries you suffered during the season.
100%.
We all acknowledge that. However, we are talking about this game. You've lost 3 on the trot. Bedadnaders is just coming off a big win. The history of this one, Bedadnaders is 7-2 against you.
It's a record.
Projections are 108-75 to you currently.
Sure.
However, Bedadnaders is turning on the bye. Tell me about this game.
Yeah, that's it, and they do, and I mean, I must admit, again, they are struggling with injuries, as we see in here. Terrell Pride probably won't play. Will Beckham be firing all cylinders?
Without Spencer Ware.
That's it, and they currently no tight end, and none's replaced with neither. And there's not too many tight ends out there that are performing right now.
There are not. No, there are
That's
not.
it. So that's going to be an interesting one. Ingram's come back in, and he's playing San Francisco in San Francisco. But as we saw last week, Sean Payton wasn't too keen on him.
This pick is interesting for me because it's much less about playing the matchup here, and I think more about. But Bedadnaders is in a much similar boat to me. He is struggling more and more each week, I feel, to keep up that consistency. Fair play to both of us. We both managed it, but I think that start of Ingram highlights that a lot.
Absolutely right. And to say, what he does have, as we saw last week, we saw Derek Carr scoring 40 points against Tampa in Tampa. Matt Ryan's playing Tampa in Tampa. He's coming off a few good weeks.
Yeah.
That could be...
Thursday night game, always one to watch out for, though.
Yeah.
Running backs typically do better than...
I'm with you.
The passing game.
But
I completely agree. It's still a good matchup.
That's it. On the other side, we're going with some Titans again because they're playing. Everything, people like it or not, they are playing San Diego, and San Diego haven't. Well, defensive. Well, I say defensive. They're annihilated by injuries. Then they're annihilated by injuries just in general.
Yeah, but that's a fair description.
Yeah. So roll with Mariota. Roll Mariota this week. Cam, he's playing LA, but he's playing LA in LA. Difficult place to go, especially when you're not in form. Yeah. We're seeing that pretty much an unchanged lineup from last week. Maybe we might see the Titans D come in. So we saw a few weeks ago the Bills got wrecked by Miami in Miami. They're definitely going to run heavy this year. The Jets haven't been great, and if they can't defend against Cleveland, well then, what hope have they got? The difficulty, I think here, Bedetta is, you're right, they're struggling to put together a credible team for this week, but their consistency can't be discounted. No. However, on the other side, Forge Flyers, pretty much full strength, going well.
Do I feel a Forge Flyers pick coming on
in
here?
certain departments going well, let's put it that way. I'm going for Flyers.
Bold, but fair. It's another one that I think is closer than meets the eye.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, I just feel we know what we're going to get from your team, and I think you can accept that comment. We've seen you get between about 80 to 95 every week,
100%,
for the past how many weeks?
Yep.
But Adelaiders, we've seen them get about between 88 and 105 every week for the past week. So just on that alone, Bedadnaders are slightly more likely to score slightly higher than you. Yeah. I could definitely see it being a really close one.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think I will go with Bedadnaders.
Ooh, we're going for it. We're going split decision.
Because I just feel with Bedadnaders, you're I feel with your team, like, it's kind of a share the love. You kind of group it up to 85, 95.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Detonators, it's more about a few big performers, and that usually pumps them up, and then the others fill in, and
100%.
that kind of gives them that little extra oomph, I feel.
Yeah.
And like you pointed out, Matt Ryan against Tampa, and Odell Beckham back in the lineup too. I think that's just where the edge comes from.
Yeah.
Really.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Our next game then, the Tuckfats take on ADRZ. Interesting for these two because obviously they were two very slow starters and now they meet really in peak form. So a really interesting one. Contender for monkey matchup again, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
History of this one, ADRZ is 3-3 all time against Tuckfats, so right down the middle of the split here. And we obviously know what happened when they were playing each other last week, all that trash talk. Last year, all the trash talk that ultimately led to the Tuckfats' demise and ADRZ's glory.
Right.
Tuckfats 4-4, ADRZ 5-3. Projections currently 99 to 93. Tell me about this game.
Well, there's some interesting starts on both teams here. I mean, when you're ADRZ, I can understand because they are being caught out by bye weeks here. Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
That's the problem. And yeah, we've got some good matchups. Don't get me wrong. Freeman against Tampa, like that, like anyone against Tampa. My grandma against Tampa. That's good. But that's probably the. And I think the Bills D against Seattle has the potential to be all right.
Yeah,
but they are playing away. But Russell Wilson's getting a little bit better.
He hasn't thrown a touchdown in 3 weeks.
He hasn't thrown.
Hasn't thrown a touchdown.
He seems like he's doing better, but maybe he's just been
because he's one of those good quarterbacks that runs the team well, even though they're struggling. But the Seahawks have been struggling.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely, they're not the force that the solid force that they have.
No.
But what I don't like here, I mean, we're seeing like Baltimore against Kansas City. Playing Kansas, Arrowhead, it's difficult.
Andrew Luck struggled against Kansas.
Precisely.
I can't wait to see what Blake Bortles.
That's it. Now Bortles comes off a 35-point week. I don't think he's going to get anywhere near that this week. And we're seeing a lot of Rams. We're seeing 2 Rams being played against Carolina. Yep, that's it. Kenny Britt, he's been playing well this year.
I think it speaks more to how bad Carolina have been as opposed to how good the Rams have been.
Well, there is this, but Kendrick's a tight end. That's a bit of a trick play, maybe. But Carolina's D is potentially the best part of the team right now. So, we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
I'd say that. And when you're playing Case Keenum, as we saw at Twickenham, there's always a chance for a pick. On the other side...
Or 4.
Or many. Or more than 4. Cap starting again. Hey, playing New Orleans.
Yeah.
He
just needs running yards to get the points. That's pretty much what you're looking for when you play Cap.
Yeah, that's it. You'll get that and play against the poorest New Orleans defence. That's it. That's not a bad play. Hightails come in again. Pens.
That's a bit ropey. We don't really know what that's going to be.
If that turns out to be the best play of the week because Ingram doesn't start, then fair play to Phil. You can't really argue with that.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the team, it's his full strength team, and I like Dan Bailey's managed to make it to the Tuckfats. Look at this. So I think the Tuckfats look more solid this week, but I think the ADRZ. I don't know. You can't seem to rule them out, but I just have the feeling that the Tuckfats will do it this week rather than ADRZ because they're just not going to have the same kind of performances they have done in the previous weeks.
I'm going to pick ADRZ based on the fact that the Tuckfats are without Gronk, Rob Kelly, who made a great start for them last week. And I completely agree with what you say about ADRZ. In fact, both teams are really struggling with the bye weeks and injuries because ADRZ is out without Bernard, Green, and Jordan Reed.
Yes.
So they're really, really struggling as well. But I've said a lot this season that Tuckfats' bench has been a humongous issue, and we're seeing those bench players playing this week.
Yeah. They got a great bench this week, so all their good players are on buys.
That's true.
Every cloud.
Yeah. I'm going to go with ADRZ.
Okay.
Next game then, Cash for Gold against Pakistan. And this matchup hasn't happened yet, and I believe this is the last team. Is this the last team Cash for Gold haven't played? No, not quite. Nearly there. A few more. Cash for Gold take on Pakistan. Storylines this one. Cash for Gold really had a strong start the year for a rookie, I think it's fair to say. But they have, however, dropped 4 on the trot and see themselves at 3-5. While Pakistan as we said, 6 in a row, leading the league. Really great stuff from them. Cash for Gold is actually projected to win this one, 97-92. What do you make of this game?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's probably about right as well. We're seeing here there's no change. No change this week. I don't think there's any change for
Derek
Pakistan.
Henry comes into Cash for Gold. Pakistan.
Almost.
Eric Ebron comes in the Titans.
Yeah.
Ted Gurley in the flex.
I mean, that's, to be quite honest with you, Nath, that is a scary, scary running back core.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that.
Wow. Can I say Stuart Gordon and Gurley?
Yeah.
All
draft picks as well, which kind of makes it that much more impressive.
I think so, and it just shows what happens when you have a solid start. I like Pakistan this week. I mean, Winston's playing Atlanta. It's got all the hallmarks of being a bit of a throw off. Yes, it's tonight, but you never know. They might turn it on Thursday night. Who knows? Stuart Gordon and Gurley are what's going to happen here. That's what's going to make it happen. Yes, they're playing fairly decent opposition this week. Yeah, Stuart's playing in LA, but it doesn't seem to have stopped from last week. Last week, the Carolina were destined to get battered, and look what happened. It didn't. Gordon's playing Tennessee, albeit at home. I think that there will be a bit of a point scorer. I think both teams have.
Kind of surprised he's not starting Phillip Rivers, to be honest.
I don't know. I think that I don't know.
I think on a normal Sunday, I probably lean a little towards Winston, but with the Thursday one, Winston's a bit volatile. I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I think that Rivers will have to throw.
Yeah.
On Sunday, so yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if that does change. But I mean, I get it that he's a fan and wants to play Winston, so Anyhow, so continuing on from that, I think
oh boy, I've just looked at some matchups on the other side.
Yeah. We're looking on the other side. Rodgers against the Colts. Yeah, that's looking good. Anything against Cleveland, that's looking very good. Derek Henry against San Diego. If he plays, that's good. But
if he gets the touches,
yeah, I'm not so sure he will. I think he probably will get a bit more goal line maybe towards the end of the game. Maybe, but we'll see again. Then it starts to get a bit messy. We see the Seahawks playing Buffalo. Yep, Buffalo haven't been great against mediocre teams, but they do turn it on. They've got a decent D. Rex Ryan seems to make them play. Murray Henry is Denver. That is clever. Marcus Lee at Kansas City. All depends on how Bortles does. I think that Pakistan are absolutely the team in the ascendancy. They have to be the favourites here. Cash for Gold. Good. It has some good weeks. This one might not be the one to capitalise on. They'll have better weeks, but Pakistan are good win.
We're disagreeing a lot today.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go with Cash for Gold.
Whoa, go for it.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the underdog.
Yeah, man.
And no discredit to Pat. I think his team's great. I put him on top of the power rankings.
Absolutely.
I could just see an upset here. Those top 3 matchups, those top 2 matchups, Aaron Rodgers and Elliott alone, I think could be absolute point gainers. I think they've got some options there. Yes, they've got tough matchups, but I can see them getting some points here and there. I don't like Marquise Lee and Derek Henry in the starting lineup. I will acknowledge that now. However, Pakistan does have some tough matchups. Let's just remember for a second, LA, tough run D. Stewart's playing them. I would say Tennessee's an underrated D as well. So Gordon, even though his bell count could struggle against them. They've got a few Thursday night matchups. Allen Robinson just hasn't been great this season.
No, I'm with you.
Eric Ebron against a tough Minnesota D.
Yeah.
Todd Gurley against what historically has been a great Carolina D. And to be fair, they've managed to not shut down David Johnson last week, but shut down David Johnson by David Johnson's standards.
Yeah.
So I could see it being a tough week for Pakistan.
Ooh.
I think Cash for Gold could nick it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We've disagreed. It's three out of 4 so far.
Yeah.
This is strange.
Yeah.
This is interesting
It's
ground.
odd, yeah. Maybe it's your happy pill.
Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just losing the will.
Or maybe I'm the stage of my illness of being delusional. One of them.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I don't know. I'd like it though.
Next one here, nearly there. A long episode again. Sorry, folks. Tom's Tyrants take on the Brady Bunch. History of this matchup. Tom's Tyrants are 0-3 against the Brady Bunch.
Yeah. It's the Brady a bunch without Brady this week.
It is, because the projections are currently very, very amusing. 77 to 33 in favour of Tom's Tyrants.
Yeah.
But the Brady bench has 3 players and a bye.
Brady bunch going to get wrecked this week.
And a spare bench spot.
Wow. Fill that one out while you can. Brady bunch can get wrecked. Sorry, it's just going to happen.
Yeah.
Without Brady, they're without Hill.
They don't even have a quarterback on their roster.
No, don't have that.
And they're not going to be... Oh no, they will be able to field 2 starting running backs.
At least Jay might play.
Yeah, we're not going to have to do too much analysis on this one.
No, Tom's Tyrant's going to win. Sorry, everybody. That's enough. Done. See you later. You'll see why if you look at the...
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel a bit unfair not to do this in more detail, but...
I agree. I mean, Brady Bunch are going to have Brown in, like you say, Jai, for whatever that's worth. I'm still not convinced.
No.
But behind that, there really is not a lot. They're going to be starting a waiver QB. And... Yeah, not a great lot. Well, Tom's Tyrants are not full strength, but they're in pretty good shape.
Who is the best waiver QB at the moment? Just to tickle my interest.
Might be Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, don't tell me.
Okay,
No.
so Tyrod Taylor against Seattle, Nick Foles against Jacksonville, Carson Wentz against the Giants, Ryan Tannehill against the Jets are probably your best option.
Sam Bradford against Detroit.
Oh yeah, that's probably,
I would go with that. If that were me, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I would too.
But that's not saying a lot.
From one bye-week held team to another, the Dream Team take on Icknan.
Oh no!
History of this matchup. The Dream Team are 5-2 all time against Icknan, and these two have had very similar seasons. They've been played very well, to their credit, but they've just not had the luck on their side, and they've lost games that they could have won otherwise. And I think again the Dream Team's probably going to pick up a gimme in this one, because Icknan have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players on a bye. Not counting LaShawn McCoy and Steve Smith's injuries.
Or Jamal Charles.
Hold on, let's just talk about. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 startable players on the team, and 2 of them are quarterbacks. So effectively, they have 4 out of 9 starters. I think this week might be a throw in the towel week for Icknan.
I saw this earlier in the week, I must admit. As I was flicking through the
Oh my god.
I was going to say this. We were going to do the podcast yesterday, and I was going to just leave this. I hope you'd leave this till last. This is the worst matchup I've ever seen in IC history. Can I just say?
We've seen some bad ones, folks. We've seen some 30, 40-point games. I think this takes the game.
This one here could take the carrot as... I mean, I'm not even going to analyse that. I mean, Matt Stafford against the Vikings is going to get wrecked.
Wilson could play... Let's just say he might put Wilson in.
I hope he does. He might leave Tuesday night to score all his points. I mean, great. The Panthers might pick Case Keenum a couple of times, but maybe not. Fleeta might score. Should I just say here, the Dream Team are playing their full strength team, pretty much. So sorry, Ben. This is going to be. This might even be the biggest points difference we've ever seen ever.
Yeah, I'm not picking the upset in this one.
I think they could win.
If Dream Team lose this game, I think Viv might just have to retire.
Honestly, if Icknan win this week, right? I mean, just pick your forfeit.
This is the thing, because if I were Icknan, I wouldn't even bother trying to win this game. No. A, because the players you pick up aren't going to win it, and B, you're going to throw away decent players. You're
dropping everybody. So. Yeah, to just forget about it.
Yeah,
he's got wins in the bag. He's winning the bag. I know he hasn't got wins in the bag. He's even have. Do you know what, Ben? Guide, mate. I'll tell you, guide, pal. You've had it there.
And we laugh, but this could actually have serious implications for the playoffs. If they can get back into a position of being with a record that would achieve a playoff berth, the points they lose in this week could really work against them.
Well, it's true.
It really could.
The problem is that these are all drafted players that he's got, so he's really brought it upon himself. His spreadsheet didn't tell him that. You can have all the analytics you want, and then you get to this week and get caned. So Yeah, there's not much to say about that. Dream team with this game, absolutely,
Yeah,
hands
that's,
down.
yeah,
Oh my
that's
word!
right.
And if that doesn't happen, then I mean, just on Tuesday morning, look out your window, and if you see pigs flying, hell's freezing over, then that's why.
And Donald Trump as president.
Do you know what? If stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Hey, you know what? If that happens, that is an indicator of what's going to happen next week.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Finally, some milestones to look for you next week. Dave Stubbs, Coach Stubbs Senior, could
Coaching.
get his 60th regular season win on time next week.
Just what you want. Just what you want. That'd be good.
Coach Bidette could notch his 50th regular season and all-time loss with a loss next week.
Join the club. Join the Big Five.
And Coach Barnes could also notch his 50th. Oh, Coach Mara and Coach Barnes could notch their 50th all-time losses with a loss next week.
So is Coach Sherwood about to...
Coach Sherwood could get his 50th all-time 50th regular season win.
Don't say it.
50th regular season win next week with a win.
In 2 weeks' time, yeah?
In 2 weeks' time is probably the more likely time frame for that. Coach Wells could get his 40th all-time loss next week. A lot of all-time losses going on. And that's about it for the... well, we ended the episode on that time.
I can't believe how bad that is.
I feel we should end the show rather than wrapping it up. We're just gonna both say our projected scores for Iknan this week. And then just end the episode there on laughter, most likely.
We are projected at 38.
Right, think about it. We're projected. Yeah, 38.12 is the projection. First off, over under.
Under. Panthers D are going to score 12.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under too. Right. So we say our projected scorelines for us after 3. You go first, and then I'll say it soon after, and then we laugh, and the show will cut to black. So it's been nice talking to you. Have a good week. We're gonna say Ben's scoreline now. 3, 2, 1.
32 and a half.
35.
Boom. Bye. Fading away like Ben's hopes.